Hello guys, welcome back. Today I'm doing my May 2019 NHL mock draft. Now with the U18 World Junior Championships just coming to the end, the top 31 is as close as ever. So which prospects rise and drop, and which prospects crack the top 31? Watch till the end to find out. Now, a big thing to note is that this is my top 31 personal rankings. This isn't a mock draft. I'll be doing that later on this channel, but just note these are my personal rankings. These are not where I predict these guys to go. This is where I think these guys should go. Now, we're going to start with the mock draft with numbers 31 through 26, and starting it out with number 31, I have Philip Broberg. He's a defenseman, Swedish-born defenseman. It wasn't ranked in last month's rankings, but had a brilliant World Junior Championships. At number 30, I have Simon Holmstrom. He's a right winger from Sweden. Also was not ranked last time, had a solid super elite season, but in the World Juniors put it all together and looked fantastic. At number 29, I have Brandon Tracy. He is a left winger Canadian, also wasn't ranked in the last month's rankings. He had a fantastic season with Moose Jaw Warriors in the WHL, but had a great World Junior Championships, kind of proving himself as well. At number 28, I have Raphael Lavoie. He is a center / right winger in Canada, or from Canada in the QMJHL. He's up 2 spots from last month, had an incredible QMJHL playoffs, especially offensively. At number 27, I have Ryan Suzuki. He's a center, a Canadian, dropped 9 spots. Most, not really because of his performance, but mostly because of other players' performances, and a lot of people rising up to the occasion. At number 26, I have Philip Tomasino. He's a center, a Canadian. He was not ranked last time. He is with the Niagara Ice Dogs, had a pretty solid season, and I especially like his overall game, especially offensively. Now going to picks 25 through 20, at number 25 I have Ville Heinola. He's a Finnish foreign defenseman, down 4 spots from last month. He had a very solid league season, and I am still a pretty big fan of him. But when it came to his World Junior performance, I was very less than impressed, especially offensively, where we really didn't see him too much. Defense was kind of rough as well. He didn't really have the best tournament, and that kind of was a big reason why he went down a little bit. At number 24, I have Samuel Vigamo. He is a Swedish-born right winger. He's up 5 spots from last month's rankings. He had an incredible SHL playoffs with Frölunda. He was looking fantastic and looks like a very solid player, even though he is 19 years of age. At number 23, I have Nicholas Robertson, kind of the opposite story, where he's 17 years old, very young prospect, but is very solid and had a great season with the Peterborough Petes of the OHL. He is up 4 spots from last month and had a very solid season, of course. At number 22, I have Thomas Harley, defenseman, Canadian. He's up 1 spot from last month. While he didn't have the greatest World Junior Championships, I still am a pretty big fan of his overall game, even though the defense is lacking. The offense is certainly there. At number 21, I have Pavel Dorofiev. He's a left winger / right winger from Russia. He's down 1 spot from last month, but still, I think he's a pretty solid prospect, especially talent level. The talent that he has is through the roof. And at number 20, I have Nathan Legare. He's a right winger Canadian, down 4 spots from last month. I still do like Nathan Legare quite a bit, but he's kind of been less than impressive in the last month. In the World Junior Championships, he wasn't the greatest, and even though I do like him, not as much as I used to. Now going through picks 19 to 16, starting it out with Nils Hoglander. He's Swedish-born left winger. He's up 0 spots from last month's rankings, not moving whatsoever. He's 18 and had a fantastic SHL season, I believe. He was very talented, showed a lot of what he was made of, and I'm still a pretty big fan of him. At number 18, I have Jakub Palacier. He is down 4 spots from last month, but in the World Junior Championships, I wasn't the biggest fan of him. Offensively, he was meh. In the QMJHL, we saw a lot of good things from him, but he'll have to directly translate that season if he wants to go up to the next level. At number 17, I have Cam York, defenseman, American, moving 0 spots from last month's rankings. He's 18 years old, had a brilliant World Junior Championships for the U18 level, was fantastic with Team USA, but I already knew the offense was there, but he already proved it before, so he didn't really move up too much in my rankings. At number 16, last but not least, and just before the top 15, I have Bobby Brink. He's a right winger, American, up 6 spots from last month. He had an incredible USHL season, but I also wanted him to prove it a little bit more during some better competition, and the U18s, he certainly did, scoring a ton of points and just being overall fantastic. Alright, now since we are done with picks 31 to 16, we can now get to the meat and potatoes of the mock draft, that being the top 15. And starting at the top 15 for my May mock draft edition, I have Moritz Seider. He's a defenseman, a German-born player at age 18, 6'4", 198 pounds, and I've been a pretty big fan of Moritz Seider, especially this season. He won the DEL Rookie of the Year. Looks to be a fantastic project, but if he does turn up his full potential, could definitely be a first pairing pairing guy. Being one of the best defensemen, I think, in this draft, he has serious steal potential, and if he does develop right, watch out, because he should be fantastic in the future. Now heading on into number 14, and at number 14, I have Alex Newhook. He is a center, a Canadian, up a whopping 10 spots from last month's rankings. It's amazing what a World Junior Championship performance can do for a player, and it certainly did impact Alex Newhook. He is an age 18 player, 5'11", 190 pounds, and again, as I said before, the regular season was good for him, but he certainly did prove himself in the World Juniors. Now, in the BCHL this season with the Victoria Grizzlies, he ended up playing 53 games, getting 38 goals, 64 assists for a whopping 102 points. Now, he ended up leading the BCHL, mostly because the BCHL is a pretty trash league. In my opinion, I knew the talent was there with Newhook, but I want to see him prove it against much better competition. And the World Juniors, especially the U18 level, is definitely much better competition. And in the World Juniors, he definitely stepped up his game, playing 7 games with Team Canada, getting 5 goals, 5 assists for an amazing 10 points. And again, the talent, I think, was always there. It was just about me seeing if he could actually prove it at the next level. And the World Juniors was certainly that next level for him, that in tournaments before, in the past, he wasn't quite able to perform in well, but this one he certainly did, and in my opinion, proved himself, at least offensively. Now going on over to number 13, and at number 13, I have Arthur Kaliev. He is a left-winger American at age 17, down 2 spots from last month's rankings. He's 6'2", 190 pounds, and of course, the points that he ended up putting up in Hamilton was absolutely fantastic. Now at age 17, Arthur Kaliev was able to put up 51 goals, 51 assists for a solid 102 points with the Hamilton Bulldogs in the UHL this season. Those are fantastic numbers. But the questions were obviously about his overall game and how he could directly translate that to the next level. Whether that be the AHL, the NHL, whatever it might be. There's some big questions on if he's able to do that at least consistently. And with Arthur Kaliev, obviously, he's proved that in the OHL, and I think he can do it at some point, directly translate that to the NHL level. But if he can't, that's a big bust prospect, because if Arthur Kaliev can't do that, he doesn't really have too much else to offer, especially defensively and just the overall game. Now heading it on to number 12, and at number 12 I have Dach. He's a center, Canadian, down 3 spots from last month's rankings. He's 18 years old, 6'4", 198 pounds, with the Saskatoon Blades of the WHL. In the WHL this season, he played 62 games, getting 25 goals, 48 assists for 73 points. In the playoffs, he ended up playing 10 games, getting 5 goals, 3 assists for 8 points, which is solid enough. But when it came to his play, I had him at number 3 earlier in the mock draft, earlier in the year. I think it was like either November or December. I had him as high as number 3. And looking back on it with Dach, he was putting up amazing point totals, but the skating consistency was always not there. And when you go to new prospects nowadays, skating is a huge part of it. You want to see that skating be big and be actually fluent. When it comes to Dach, there's a lot of problems just with his overall skating that might hinder him going into the next level. And that's the main concern with him right now. If he can fix him that skating, he'll be well off, because the skill that he has is absolutely through the roof. And moving on to number 11, and at number 11, I have Victor Soderstrom. He is Swedish-born defenseman at age 18, 5'11", 179 pounds. He's up 2 spots from last month's rankings and is looking pretty great right now. And while obviously you got the fantastic defenseman in the draft in Byram, I think Victor Soderstrom is absolutely 100% the second best defenseman in this draft. Now, in the SHL this season, he played 44 games, getting 4 goals, 3 assists for 7 points. In the World Junior Championships at the 18 level, he ended up playing 4 games, getting 1 assist for 1 point. He ended up being a little bit banged up and having to leave the tournament because of injuries, which was unfortunate. And when it comes to Victor Soderstrom, when it comes to his overall offensive level, I don't think that's what we really should be looking at with him. When it comes to the overall play, that is where he really excels. He isn't fantastic in offense, he isn't fantastic in defense, but he is very good in both. Good enough where I think you can directly translate to the NHL level in just a few years. And when it comes to Victor Soderstrom, I think he's a first pairing guy. Might not be as good offensively to carry a complete defense, but be very good enough in both categories of the game, which is what you like to see. For a team that maybe needs both, maybe some defense and some offense, it would work quite well, and Victor Soderstrom does bring both. Now heading it on to the top 10, and number 10, I have Matthew Boldy. He is a left winger, an American, up 0 spots, not moving whatsoever from last month's rankings. He is age 18, 6'2", 192 pounds, and in both the USDP and the World Juniors this season, he's excelled, especially offensively. Now, playing with the U.S. development program, he ended up getting 64 games played, getting 33 goals, 48 assists for 81 points. Very solid numbers right there. In the World Junior Championships, though, he played fantastic as well. With Team USA, playing 7 games, getting 3 goals, but 9 assists for a fantastic 12 points. And in a tournament as that competitive as that U18 tournament is, it's very impressive to see what he's been able to do. And I've always liked Matthew Boldy as a prospect. I think he's been top 15 throughout this whole year, and he hasn't budged from that. But he's been moving around, I would say, the 8th spot to around the 12th spot. He's been pretty much all over, but the offense has been consistent from him. We've seen that the USDP, the USHO, when he's played there, and of course the World Junior Championships. He brings almost everything you'd want offensively. He's a pretty complete player in the offensive end and can bring a lot of value to a team that needs an offensive impact. Now, going on into number 9, and at number 9, I have Caufield. He is a center/right winger, an American, up 3 spots from last month's rankings, and man, has Caufield had a month to remember. He is at age 18, 5'7", 163 pounds, but don't let the overall size fool you, because Caufield is a fantastic, and I mean fantastic, NHL prospect. Now, in the USDP, he ended up playing 64 games, getting 72 goals, 28 assists for 100 on the dot points. And when it came to Caufield in this month, he ended up passing Phil Kessel, I think, for the most goals in the USDP history, which is insane, by the way. Phil Kessel, I'm pretty sure, is a pretty good player. And the World Juniors, he had an even more insane tournament as well. With the World Junior 18 team of Team America, he ended up playing 7 games, getting 14 goals for 4 assists for 18 points. Almost 2 goals a game. Basically, at that point, he was just absolutely electric. I think tying the most goals in World Junior 18 tournament history, which is a big feat to accomplish. Obviously, he has some great teammates, guys like Hughes, Zegras, Alex Turcotte, but when it comes to his overall play, he is absolutely fantastic. I think the best pure goal scorer in this draft, while Artur Kaliev has a pretty solid shot, Caufield knows where to be at all times, knows where his teammates are, knows where the teammates will feed him, and is there at all times. Caufield, just the hockey IQ that he has, goal scoring wise, is through the roof, and in this draft, the best of the best. Now going to number 8, and at number 8, I have Wylie Podkolzin. He is a right winger, Russian-born player, up 0 spots from last month, not moving whatsoever. He's age 17, 6'1", 190 pounds, and Wylie Podkolzin being one of the most controversial players in this draft. Number 8 for me, I think as perfect as it gets. While I'm not as high as some other people, putting him at number 3, number 4, I'm not as low as some other people, putting him in the late 10s, putting him outside maybe of the top 15. I'm not quite there. I'm somewhat stuck in the middle with Wylie Podkolzin. I think he's a fantastic, talented player, but the stats certainly do not show that yet. And miraculously, somehow, one of the biggest sample sizes we have about Podkolzin is World Junior Championships performance in both the 18 level and the U20 level. In the U18 level, he ended up playing 7 games, getting 4 points, and the U20 level, he ended up playing 7 games, getting 3 points. And with Wylie Podkolzin, the big thing I am stressing is sample size. I do know the talent is there. We've seen it in the past. Wylie Podkolzin has one of the biggest potentials and talent levels in this NHL draft, but I haven't barely seen him. As despite the World Junior Championships performances, which have been decent, I haven't seen him perform at this amazing level that some people think he can achieve. I've seen people putting him number 3, and that's a pretty big consensus right there, that he's that top 5, top 3 overall pick, and right now, I just haven't seen that, and I haven't been able to base that because of the performances so far. Now, going along to number 7, and at number 7, I have Peyton Krebs. He's a left winger / center, a Canadian, moving no spots up from last month. He is at age 18, 5'11", 181 pounds, and I personally am a pretty big fan of Peyton Krebs, and he had an amazing World Junior Championships tournament as well. Now in the WHL, with the terrible Kootenay Ice, he ended up playing 64 games, getting 19 goals, 49 assists for 68 points. In the World Junior Championships, he ended up playing 7 games, getting 6 goals, 4 assists for 10 points. And when it comes to Peyton Krebs, I think he was the captain of Team Canada at the U18 tournament. Definitely deserved. But with Peyton Krebs, yes, the points aren't as good as a guy like Braden Tracy or a Kirby Dach or whatever. But you have to realize that he was on one of the worst CHL teams, maybe of all time. He was the captain of that team and was basically the lone guy there. Peyton Krebs was fantastic throughout that whole season, especially offensively. offensively, and the perseverance that he has is through the roof. Playing on such a bad team, he still puts out effort every single night, and that's the characteristic that you like to see in a player. That's what you like to see in a player going forward, and if for a team drafting him, they're going to be pretty lucky to get a great player who has fantastic potential and also is a great man in and of itself. Now going on to number 6, and at number 6 I have Dylan Cozens. He's Canadian, a center slash right winger, age 18, 6'3", 181 pounds. He's down 2 spots from last month's rankings. It's maybe not because of him, it's maybe some players going up in front of him, but Dylan Cozens has been a little bit less than impressive, I would say, in the last month. In the WHL so far this season, he played 68 games, getting 34 goals, 50 assists for 84 points. Very solid point totals. When it comes to the World Junior Championships team, though, he was okay. He ended up playing 7 games, getting 4 goals, 5 assists for 9 points. He was solid, but I didn't think he was the absolute superstar that I think I was expecting from him. He wasn't obviously the captain of that team, but I was kind of expecting not just more points, but just overall more, I guess, showmanship. When it comes to Dylan Cozens, when I was watching Team Canada, yes, he did perform well, but I just didn't see as much of an impact that I thought I would see there, especially defensively, where he was kind of lackluster in my opinion, but throughout the whole tournament, I think they kind of need a guy like Dylan Cozens to step up to that elite level, and while he did play well in that tournament, I'm not sure if he played as well to stay at number 3 or even number 4 in my mock draft. Now heading on to the top 5, and at number 5, I have Trevor Zegras. He is a center, an American. He's age 18, 6 foot, 168 pounds, up 1 spot from last month's rankings. And with Trevor Zegras, I've been a big fan of him, especially in the last few months. In the World Juniors, he played fantastic, and of course had a fantastic USDP season. Now in the USDP in 60 games, he ended up getting 26 goals, 61 assists for 87 points, over an assist per game. In the World Junior Championships, he was also playing like that. He only ended up playing 5 games, but got 9 assists in that game for 9 points. While there was no goals, he was setting up Team USA left and right. When it comes to Trevor Zegras, while some people might not have him in the top 5, I think he is well worth a top 5 pick for how he's played so far this season. The creativity, the offensive impact that Trevor Zegras has, I'm a pretty big fan of. And while it might be a little bit of reach to have him in the top 5, I think the offensive creativity that he has is amazing, and overall the player is very solid. Now going into number 4, and at number 4, I have Byram. He is a defenseman, Canadian. He is 6 foot, age 17, 194 pounds with the Vancouver Giants. He is up 1 spot from last month's rankings, and Byram has an excellent last few months, especially offensively, where he's just been absolutely dynamic in the WHL. Now, in 67 regular season games with the Vancouver Giants of the WHL, he ended up playing 67 games, of course, getting 26 goals, 45 assists for 71 points. Fantastic numbers, and in the playoffs it got even better. He's played 15 games so far, getting 7 goals, 11 assists for 18 points. He's won both of these in the regular season and the playoffs for the Vancouver Giants, having an excellent impact defensively and especially offensively. When it comes to Byram, I think he would have done so much damage with Team Canada in the U18s, but of course still being in the playoffs with the Vancouver Giants, he still had some work to do, so I don't really fault him for that, of course, but in the playoffs he was fantastic. Offensively, he did step up to the plate, and is one of the Vancouver's best players in the WHL, playing so fantastic. And when it comes to Byram, he's been kind of a guy that has been looked at as the best defenseman in this draft for quite a while, but he's proving that every single game, as the offense is there, the defense is there, and the overall game is almost perfected. Now going into number 3, and at number 3, I have my boy, Alex Turcotte. He's an American center at age 18. He is 5'11", 185 pounds, up 0 spots, moving no spots from last month's rankings. And when it comes to his season stats so far, he's been fantastic, and the overall game that he has is also 10 out of 10. Now, when it comes to his USDP stats, he ended up getting less games played because he started out the year with a big injury. He ended up coming back in December and has been lights out since, playing 37 games, getting 27 goals, 35 assists for 62 points. In the World Junior Championships team with Team USA, he ended up getting 7 games played, 4 goals, 5 assists for 9 points. When it comes to Alex Turcotte, even if the stats weren't there whatsoever, I still would be a pretty big fan of him because of his overall offensive game. I'm a pretty big fan of his creativity. The overall offensive dynamic that he brings every single game is just fun to watch. We saw that in the World Juniors. We've seen it in USDP. And I'm a pretty big fan of him, as you could obviously tell. He was number 3 for me going into the season and ends up number 3 back again right now. And when it comes to Alex Turcotte, again, the offense that he has is going to be so valuable to a team like Chicago, LA, play, whoever ends up drafting him, they're going to be really, really proud because this guy is going to be absolutely fantastic. But going into the top two between Jack Hughes and Kakko, and every single month, this is the hardest decision to make with these mock drafts, whether it's Kakko or Jack Hughes. But of course, you guys knew the answer last month. I ended up picking Kakko number 1, and this month it doesn't end up changing. At number 2, I have Jack Hughes. He's a center, an American. I could go down the list of his details. You guys already know what this kid brings. He brings a ton of talent, a ton of offense, and the potential for him is through the roof. In the USDP, ended up playing 50 games, getting 34 goals, 78 assists for 112 points. In the World Junior Championships on the U18 level, he ended up breaking Alex Ovechkin's record for the most points in U18 history, which is a pretty good feat to accomplish. Getting 7 games played, 9 goals, 11 assists for 20 points in that tournament, just shy of Kucherov's record for the most in a single U18 tournament. In the World Juniors team, or the U20 team, he ended up playing in December. He ended up playing 4 games, getting 4 assists for 4 points. He was also solid back then. When it comes to Jack Hughes' stats, obviously, they're amazing across the board, but what he brings on the ice is just special. The skating that he has, I think, is one of the best in the draft we've seen for a long, long time. The speed is there, the quickness is there, the puck handling is amazing, the overall sense, the hockey IQ is amazing as well. And when it comes to Jack Hughes, being an American-born guy, I really wish I could put him number 1, but Kakko, I think he's just too good right now. Now, speaking of the devil, at number 1, my number 1 player in my May 2019 NHL mock draft, I have Kakko. He's a right winger, Finnish-born player, age 18, 6'2", 190 pounds, up no spots from last month's rankings. And some of you guys might know that already, but Kakko is my favorite player in this year's NHL draft. I love him to pieces, and so far in this year, he's had an excellent one, especially in the SM Liga. Now, with TPS of Liga, he played 75 games, getting 22 goals, 16 assists for 38 points, breaking the U18's rookie scoring record of the Liga. Guys like Aho, guys like Barkov, fantastic players, but when it came to Kakko, he got more points in the end. And when you look at his overall game, it definitely shows. The offense is there certainly. In the World Junior 20 team with Team Finland, he ended up playing 7 games, getting 2 goals, 3 assists for 5 points on the year, which was fantastic, by the way, getting the golden goal for Team Finland against Team USA and Jack Hughes. When it comes to Kakko, though, the offense is one of the best I've seen in a long time. The hockey IQ is just, I think, one of the best in this draft. He always knows where to be, to rack up scoring chances, to get rebounds, to pass to other teammates. He knows where to be, and the goal scoring in the Liga is especially impressive for how young he really is. While he is a little bit more of an older prospect in this year's draft, the scoring is just absolutely bonkers. But of course, with this video, I want to hear your guys' thoughts down in the comments down below. So, let me know, what do you think about my top 31 prospect rankings? What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? Let me know. And also, let me know, not your top 31 because that would be a little bit insane, but let me know your top 10 mock drafts. Who do you see going in the top 10? And how do you see the order actually be? But if you guys want some more Grav videos just like this one, you can click on this card right here to watch my April 2019 NHL mock draft. But that'll be it for today, guys. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Again, comment down below your thoughts on my mock drafts and what your mock drafts would be. And I'll see you guys in the next video or stream. Goodbye.